So, topic today, we are factoring with a leading coefficient. Now, with a leading coefficient, so a lot of words, blah, blah, blah. You guys know what factoring is. It's kind of undoing either the distributive property or undoing the FOIL or double distributive, right? That's basically what factoring is all about. So if it has a leading coefficient, that would be a number in front of the x squared. A leading coefficient is a number in front of the x squared. And it messes things up because the multiples of the last number don't always make the middle number. In fact, you can see with this one, the multiples 9 are not going to make a 3. But with the help of the 2, they will. So the answer, and I want to do this on purpose, the answer to this factoring is this.
I knew it.
But let's go ahead and see why, because eventually we're going to get rid of the answer. We're going to have to do it on our own. So right off the bat, if I were to FOIL, do our double distribute, we'd get a 2x squared minus a 6x plus a 3x minus 9. Okay? Great question. I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose, okay? So now, we know that when you were to add it together, it will get this, correct? Now I'm going to leave this. I underlined it, but I did not simplify. I want to leave this for a second because I want to look at this. So we are going to factor. So we already know the answer, but let's go and assume we don't know the answer, okay? So let's go at least to what we should do, Cody, and that is put the glue away, okay? And here's what we do know. The only way we can get a 2x squared, the only way we can get a 2x squared is with a 2x and an x. Okay, let's start there. The only way you're going to get a 2x squared is with a 2x and an x, okay? Right? Now, the factors of 9, don't worry about the middle term. The factors of 9 are either going to be 3 and 3 or 1 and 9. And so this is where using a pencil is handy because if you do it wrong, you erase, try something else, okay? Now we're looking for this thing called the double smiley, okay? And I'll go ahead and show the double smileys right here, okay? Okay, there's your double smiley, okay? So what I found was, I'm going over to the answer, these two made a negative 6x. Call it double frowny. What are we going? Sure. Sure. So negative 6x, you see the negative 6x? Yeah. Positive 3x, together they would make a negative 3. So let me do it wrong. Don't write this down. Let me do it wrong at first. So if I were to go ahead and try a 9 and a 1, my double smiley makes the middle term. That would make a 2 and a 9, which would never add up to a 3. You see it? And I could even switch the 9 and the 1. I just want to show you how it could be done wrong before I could do a 1 and a 9, but again, that would make, you watching, that would make an 18 and a 1, which would not make a 3. Now, if we do know the multiples of 9 are going to be 3 and 3, what we're looking for is the negative 3. Okay, we already know a couple of things. We already know, boom, that 2x times x is 2x squared. We know that. That's got to be there. We also know the multiple is 9. Several ways to do it, but what we need to do is make the middle term. So we check it with our double smile, okay? So I'm trying to make the middle term because I know for sure that makes 9. I know for sure that makes 2x squared. So that's a 3x. That's a 6x. Now I'm looking to try and make a negative 3x, right? So if I had a negative 6 and a positive 3, if I had a negative 6 and a positive 3, they would make my middle term. And so if I had a negative 6 and a positive 3, that is the right answer. So this would give you a negative 6x and a positive 3x. If you were to add those two, you'd get a negative 3x. Okay? Now, and you can check this, right? Because we can FOIL it and check it, right? So let's say we're not sure if that's the right answer. If we check it, we already have done most of the checking because you know that's a 2x squared, right? You know that's a negative 9. When you do the, what I call the outside-inside, I used to call it the OI plus. I used to call it the OI plus. Kids thought that was stupid. So then I taught with a lady called Mrs. Major, and she goes, no, just call it the double smiley. She goes, they're high school kids. They like the double smiley. Lana, if you like the double frowny, that's okay. But you see the -6. All right. So this is the correct answer, because if you were to FOIL it, you get this. Okay, now example 2. Okay, let's try and factor it before we, so let's try and factor it before we go and simplify it, okay? So you know, right at the bat, you know for sure the only way you're going to get a 3x squared is 3x and x, right? Only way you're going to get a 3x squared is with a 3x and an x, okay? Right? And the only way you're going to get a 2 is with a 2 and a 1, right? So you kind of have to be careful where you put the 2 and the 1. I'll do it wrong in the first part so you can see why it'd be wrong. I could put a 1 here and a 2 here. And the reason that's not going to work, if you check it. Now we're looking for the 7, right? Looking for the 7. That would make a 2x and a 3x. If that's a 2x and a 3x, it does not make my middle term a 7. So then you think, okay, well that doesn't work. Let's try something else.
So you can try any number?
Well, it's got to make that multiple, right?
I know you can try it.
Yeah. So, but we know 2 times 1, but what about 1 times 2? I'll say it again.
7's prime.
Okay, I know this is complicated. This takes me a couple of days, okay? So the only way we can make a 2 Landon is with a 2 and a 1, right? Do you agree with that? Or how about a 1 and a 2? Isn't that the same thing? So if I switch around, how does that make any difference at all? Well, check your double smiley now. Which makes a what?
Oh my goodness.
This is not easy. So if you get frustrated with this, it's okay to be frustrated for a day. Maybe 2.
A day?
Maybe 2. Hopefully by the 3rd day of practice this you're going to have, okay? All the rest are really easy. This is the hard stuff, okay? Now, let's try number 1. So let's start for sure with what we know. Let's start with this, okay? Let's go parentheses, parentheses, right? And let's go with what we know. We know for sure the only way you can make a 2x squared is what? 2x and x. Everybody agree? 2x and x. Totally agree. Or x and 2x. Same thing. So let's go 2x and x. Totally agree. Okay? Right? Again, don't worry about the middle term. Not yet. Go to this one. These two numbers, here and here, have to make a 5. Right? So what times what makes 5? So let's try a 5 and a 1. Put it in pencil. Don't put it in pen. Check. Now we need to make an 11. How do we make the 11? With the double smiley, okay?
It'd be 1 plus 2.
It's wrong. So how can we maybe change? Yeah, so if you switch around the 5 and the 1, you get a 1
Oh my goodness, this is going to work.
and a 5.
Wait, why would we even do it the wrong way?
I do that on purpose so you know if you've done it
Come on,
wrong.
Zoe, catch up.
Because it would be so easy just to put a number down and say, I got it. It's like, no, you got it wrong, right? Sorry. And then I think we need a positive 11, so that would make a positive 10x. And a positive 10x, positive 1x. You guys see it? And we've made the 11, haven't we? And sure enough, if you were to multiply this out, you would get your 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. Wouldn't you?
Oh, you're right.
Of course. See? Okay? All right? These take time. Most kids do not like this type of factoring, but we just, if we practice it, some kids like it. If you're a puzzle kind of person, if you like puzzles, you're going to like factoring. Okay? If you hate puzzles, sorry. Okay, anyway. So, let's start with what we know. How do we make a 3x squared? You guys agree? 3x and x. They have to go there and there. So let's start at least off with 3x and x, okay? Don't worry about the 4. How do you make a 7?
7 and 1 is 3.
Okay, 7 and 1 is correct. Now, let me add a little bit more information. You're totally right. We need a negative 7.
So that'd be a plus and a minus.
So we need a plus minus. We're either going to have a positive 7, negative 1, or...
Does it matter?
It does matter, doesn't it? It will matter. Yeah, it will matter. So you know what, Julia? Let's try something. So we know for sure positive, negative. We'll try something. Tell me what. Just try it.
What?
What are the multiples of negative 7? Do you want to try positive 7,
Positive 7.
negative 1? Okay. Check your double smiley and see if we have it. No, it is right. You
Oh, it is
guessed.
right.
See, what's really sweet is when you guess it right the first time. Isn't that nice? So Julia guessed the correct answer right at the bat, which means we don't have to worry about erasing it. Nice job, Julia. Why, Julia, though, why are you right?
Because it's Julia.
You see your 7x, your negative 3x, right? Which makes your positive 4x. Good job, Julia. Guess it right at the first bat, then you don't have to worry about erasing it, switching it around, or whatever, right?
Wait a minute. Oh,
Okay, so number 3. So number 3, right? Parentheses, 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 parentheses. Okay, what do you think? Where would you start?
2x,
2x and x, I agree. Don't worry about the 5, just what... Yeah, it's got to be negative positive, right, Cooper?
plus 1 minus 3.
Okay, Atlanta says plus 1 minus 3. Is he right?
No.
no.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, he is. So it's always sweet when you guess it right the first time. How do you know you're right?
Oh.
Do your double smiley, right? Do your double smiley. That's a 1x. That's a negative 6x. Which does make a negative 5x. Okay, Landon got lucky, he guessed it right off the bat, or he just saw it, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, I do think he's smart. Oh, I do. Okay. I tell him that all the time. So, no, Dad, you got the wrong child. It's red. I'm going, no, you're smart too. Okay. Okay, so you're adopted. No.
Yeah, I'm black, you're white. See,
Resemblance?
No.
All right. 5x squared. 5x squared.
I'm Turkish.
Anyway. Where do we begin? Where do we begin on this one? 5xx, right? Okay. Don't worry about the 12. Don't worry about the 12, but think about 7. What times what makes 7?
1 and 7.
Okay, so 1
Plus 1 minus
and 7. I heard plus plus.
No, plus 1. Oh, wait.
Wait, that will not work out.
Nope, it won't work, will it?
1 and 7.
So what do we got to do? Zoe, you're right. So it doesn't work. So what do we do? Let's try 7 and 1. Okay. Let's see if this works.
This works. I already know. Yeah, I already know.
7 and 5 makes 12, right? Okay.
Same place.
Oh, wait, I'm trying to get
This will take some practice, you agree?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's our 5x and our 7x makes our 12, right? Julia.
So the only time you would do this is if there was a number in front of the x.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. In fact, I'll go back to the title. Leading, here's this word, Julia, leading coefficient, which means a number in front of the exponent. Coefficient is just a number in front of a variable.
Okay.
That's all. Okay, turn the page, right? Okay, we got 2 more. 2 more. Now, this one's a little harder, so I'm going to make sure I use my pencil. This is a little harder, but we're going to think about it because the problem with 6, there's just 2 ways to make a 6. There's 2 and 3 and 6 and 1. Now, here's my hint. Here's my suggestion. If your middle term is really big, I'll say it again, if your middle term is really big, use extreme numbers. If your middle term is not really big, don't use the extreme numbers. For instance, 6 and 1 would be extreme numbers, right? Our middle number is not. Now we're going to try some things. Let's try 2 and 3. 2x, 3x, okay? I'm doing pencil in case I have to erase, okay? 2x, 3x, okay? Don't just ignore the 7. What do you know about 20?
5 and 4. 5 and 4.
Good.
2 and 1.
Right, so let's try 5 and 4, positive, negative. Agree? Positive, negative? Positive, negative? Positive, 5 and 4, so I can go plus 5, plus 4. I'll go 5 and 4. Trying to make a 7, right?
That's so right. Oh my goodness.
So that's 8 and 15.
Oh.
Oh, we might have
Wait,
it.
you add these?
Yeah, we
Wait.
15 plus 8 is 20.
Oh, I get it.
But what if we need to make a negative 20, right?
Oh.
So one of them's got to be positive, one's got to be negative. Which one should be?
4 should be negative.
15 should be negative.
I like it. You said that with authority, Saul. How come? You're right. Why is the 15? Why does the 5 have to be negative? He's totally right.
Oh, because it's negative 7.
Because you get a negative 15
Minus a
and you get a positive 8, makes,
What makes
Yeah.
7?
yeah.
The negative.
And kids don't like this because you have to think.
Yeah,
It's terrible. Why is thinking the
Okay, last one.
Explain yourself.
It's okay. It's okay if you don't understand it. And it's okay to say, let's practice for a couple more days, right? Okay, what about 15x squared? What are you going to try?
3 and 5.
Okay, let's try 3 and 5. I agree. What about 32? Okay, let's try 4 and 8. Okay.
It's 8 and you 4. Wait.
Okay, let's check it out.
Come on.
That makes a 40x. That would make a 12x. Can you get a 28 from that?
Yeah.
Ah, nice call, you guys. So then I need to have a negative 28. I need a negative 28. So what should I make?
The 12 needs to be negative.
The 40 needs to be negative. That's what you meant to say, right?
Is there a bigger number that needs to be negative?
Not always.
Whoa, hold up.
Okay, I want you to think about our answer. And it is okay if most of you are a little uncomfortable with this. It usually takes about 2 or 3 days to start to get it, okay? There might be 2 or 3 of you that, like, I got this piece of cake. But my guess is most of you, this is an uncomfortable spot, right? So we just need to practice, okay? All right, last example. Let's do this one a little bit easier, okay?
A little bit easier.
Yep.
I
Okay.
hate word problems.
So you ready? I'm going to read it. So, we can do this. No, you can't. We don't have any minutes to take. All right, when you guys are scrambling to 4th period, you want to note, I'm going to say, too bad.
Oh,
So, on the north bank of the Chicago River, the water arc sprays recirculated water across the river toward a terrace along the south bank. The curve of the water is big enough for the boats to sail under. The path of water is an example of a parabola, a curve that can be modeled with a quadratic function. The quadratic function is a function that can be written in standard form, okay? The path of the water arc can be modeled by blah, 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 blah. Y equals a negative 0.06x squared plus a 1.2x plus 10, okay? So that's the equation of this parabola. In fact, let me highlight, okay? This parabola right here, that's the equation of that parabola, okay? Got it? Isaac, let me keep going, okay? So, yes, question.
Still recording.
That's okay if I'm recording, yeah.
Okay.
So, it says, what we want to do is, what point on your graph represents the water cannon? Well, that would be, it doesn't show up very well, does it? But that's got to be this point right here, the water cannon, right? So here's what I know. The water cannon is 10 feet above the ground. Does that make sense? The water cannon, that 10, is the starting height. Okay, so we know the starting height is 10 feet. Okay?
Is that what the line is?
Yeah. Yeah. So if we were to actually take this whole parabola, Landon, and just sketch it on a graph, it would look like something like that. Okay? Because of the plus 10, right? So if I take away all the words and just draw a picture, it helps, right? So there's the 10. That 10 corresponds to that, which is the start of the water, which is the cannon height, right? Okay, so good. So then what is the greatest height the water reaches? So what we want to do is find that height right there. Well, that's our vertex, isn't it? And we have a little mini formula, x equals negative b over 2a to find our vertex. So our equation was y equals a negative 0.006x squared plus a 1.2x plus 10. And I'm going to grab a calculator because I'm going to need it for this problem. But to find it, we're going to go ahead and plug in our x equals negative 1.2 over 2 times a negative 0.006, right? Right? And I'm going to be careful in my calculator that I use parentheses here and here so I don't divide wrong. But all I'm doing is getting this point. Okay? And we've seen this formula before. It's just the vertex. That would be the highest spot. Okay, we can do this. It's not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and do my negative 1.2 divided by parentheses 2 times my negative 0.006, right? So I get an answer of 100. Okay, now 100, x equals 100, is the how far out. So it's gone 100 feet. At 100 feet, it's at its highest spot. We don't know its highest spot yet, but we're going to get that because, as a famous person named Isaac Cortez once said, plug and chug, right? If I need I've got 100 something. Hold on, Price, I'll get to you. If I need 100 something, if I plug in the something, we'd get the height, correct? So let's do that. Let's go y equals negative 0.006 times 100 squared plus a 1.2 times 100 plus 10. And the way I plug and chug, Isaac, the way I plug and chug is I just let the calculator do it for me, right? I mean, I really don't. I actually never really would do this. I would let the calculator do the whole thing, right? So it's hard to see. I know the glare on the calculator, but I'm just going to go negative 0.006 times 100 squared, right? Plus 1.2 times 100 plus 10, and I get 70. Okay, so then 70 is the corresponding y value. So let me go back up here. 70. Okay, so now, what is the greatest height the water reaches? 70 feet, right? That's the y value. So we can say it's 70 feet is the highest height, okay? How far across the river does the water reach? Well, we know for sure that if this is 100 here, it's probably going to travel another 100 here. So it's going to be a little over, it's going to be a little over 200 feet. And the way we're going to get this answer here is later on next week with the quadratic form. Right today, this exact answer we don't know yet, but we don't need to know it yet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.